So here we have the solid state logic Fusion. Basically what it is a mixed bus processor that has various different key elements to that will really help process that mixed bus. Now the way we use this is we have this on as our first point that the mastering chain hits. So in this studio, in the mixing and mastering and stem mastering studio, we hit into the Fusion. We then go off into the rest of our analog equipment for mastering. Then in the mastering studio, it's the same. We hit into this and then we go off into the rest of the mastering equipment. Now the reason for that is that we can really finalize and polish a mix and get the mix so that it is ready to be mastered using this tool. Then once it hits the end of this, we're ready for mastering. So that's how we use it. You've got multiple different ways to use this. You can use it to process stems, or you can use it as a mastering tool. First of all, we have the input trim just being input gain. Next you have a high pass filter, which goes from off, 30, 40 and 50. Generally speaking, you're either going to want to be off or you're going to want to be on 30. The only time you're going up 40, 50 is probably acoustic music. The next section is the vintage drive. Now you'll notice this is off, and I'm not massively keen on this from a mastering sense. Processing stems, you would get a lot more enjoyment using the vintage drive, but in a mastering setting, I'm not particularly keen on using it. Mainly because as well, is when you insert it, you get a little bit of the noise. Well, I say a little bit of noise, you get quite a lot of noise. There's a lot of noise in that vintage drive, and when you're using it in mastering, if you're adding that amount of noise in the mastering chain, once you get to the end, you're amplifying it massively. So we tend to leave the vintage drive off. Violet EQ is a simple high and low shelf EQ with selectable bands. Really good EQ, same EQ. So basically what they've done as well is they've taken this Violet EQ out and put it into a 500 series module, and it's called the Violet Ultraviolet EQ. I've got two of them on order because these EQs are brilliant. Yeah, real simple, low, high, selectable bands, simple EQ. Next you have the high frequency compressor, threshold and crossover. Really good high frequency compressor for just massaging those top frequencies, just taming anything that's harsh. You have a little Easter egg in here as well where you can hold down and eventually turns into the I believe it's a listen mic compressor, so that's now a compressor as a compressor. Yes, I tend to keep it in the high frequency compressor because it is such a good tool as a high frequency compressor. Next we have the stereo image. This is really good. This is the setting that I find to be the best, mainly because you get the perfect amount of width. When you insert it, it's just perfect. This is where I like to sit my parameters for the stereo image, and then I will move off of that. But that's where I like to be. Basically, what you're looking at there is a stereo image. You can increase the width and increase the space. It's good. It's really good actually. Next is the transformer. Now again, it does add a little bit of something. Personally, I like to leave it off because you get a little bit of transformer hum, and again, when using it in mastering, the last thing you want to do is add something like hum, so that generally stays inactive. It does add a little bit of something though. Next we have the insert point. Now you'll notice that it's blue, and that is because it is in mid-side mode. Now what mid-side does is I have then my EQs and my de-essers and my envelope all patched in mid-side. So when I hit that, I insert this chain. Now the reason I love this unit as a whole is for this mid-side, because I now have mid-side in my mastering chain. Means I can use mid on this side and then use sides over here. Same with my de-esser. I can de-ess the sides and then de-ess the mids. it also allows me on the envelope to use EQ mode on the right and then use it as an envelope on the left. So that is a really cool feature. If you hold it down, it turns into stereo mode. Then you've got left, right, left, right. I generally always keep it in insert, in mid-side. Pre-EQ, basically what that does is it puts, when in stereo mode, I believe it puts the insert point pre-EQ. So your insert point would be going through there, insert, out to that, coming back in, and then carrying on with the chain. In mid-side, pre-EQ, I think actually puts it somewhere here, and then inactive is here in the chain. Look in the manual for that. Simple bypass. And really, yep, that is pretty much what the SSL Fusion is. It is an incredible tool. I get a lot of people asking me what I think of it and would I recommend it. Yes, I would 100% recommend it. That is why I have one in both of our studios. If I didn't recommend it and I didn't love it, it wouldn't be the first thing that my mastering chain hits in both my mixing and stem mastering studio as well as my mastering studio. So there we have the SSL Fusion. Retails at about £1,700 to £1,800. Yeah, really, really good tool.